is Ruckus. Thanks for joining. Please like, subscribe, and share. 10-8. What's going on, everybody? It's good to see you. It's good to be back. Good to be back talking about Delphi, to be honest with you. Really haven't had much to say about it because nothing's really happened. But as we all know, a lot has happened. So you know me, I'm going to cause a ruckus. Let me see if I can get this chat box where it needs to be. Mark, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see everybody. As usual, I'm going to be quiet, reserved, unopinionated, as usual. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Ruckus. I'm a retired deputy from Florida. I grew up in Boston, though. So that's why I have this accent. I don't pronounce my R's. But I'm going to share a little bit with you guys tonight. Jillian, how are you? Nana, good to see you. Jinx, hello. Thank you so much for helping out tonight. You're thebomb.com. Angela, how are you? CJK. And for those of you that don't know me as well, I like to say hi to people that come in. You're going to take the time to come and listen to my big mouth. I have the time to talk to you. Is Ruckus a Hamilton fan? Is someone releasing the Reynolds pamphlet? Looking forward to hearing his thought on the charges being added. Yes, I'm going to talk about all of that. All of that. Kyra, how are you? Let's see, I don't want to miss anybody. Mr. Don, how are you? You know, the dust is settling, and that's kind of twofold. While I'm scrolling through here to see who's coming in and putting up the chat, I think that Judge Gull could have waited for the dust to settle as well. Maybe had a hearing, as it turns out, but that didn't happen. So the old defense team is back on, and I couldn't be happier. Yeah, I wish that they had gone with the 70-day trial. Let's get it going. You know, Raggedy Susan, how are you? But the Supreme Court said no. And I'm going to use a little football analogy. I know that like 70% of my subscribers are women, middle-aged women, around 55. So I don't know how much you guys know about football. But the judge is supposed to be a referee, right? So she just keeps things going, make sure the rules are followed and the such. Now, if she does something that one of the teams doesn't agree with, they can throw a challenge flag, which is what the defense team did. The Supreme Court, they're like the replay crew in New York. You know, the coaches throw the challenge flag, and then it goes to New York, and they decide what the call is going to be. That's exactly what happened in this case. Now, it's all about fair. It's all about what's right. The Supreme Court doesn't have a dog in the fight. They'd rather not be involved at all, but they got involved because they were asked to. And I think they did a good job. I think that they knew which way they were going to go, but before they did anything. Teresa K. Miss Melissa, what's going on? Todd. Yeah, to me, they're not upgraded charges. They are the same charges. They're just, we'll go over it. They're the same charges. They just kind of separated them. Night Shadow, how are you? Happy Friday. Yeah, it is Friday. I forgot about that. Yep, I'll talk about more arrests as well. True Crime Fangirl, how are you? Back in 6 minutes with my low-carb pizza. Right on. Brandon, how are you, sir? Long time no see. You know, it's a funny thing with this, with YouTube, with the community. You know, I talk about other cases, and they're good cases, and I get hardly any views, not many comments, you know, but if it's something about Delphi, I get more views and more comments. So it's very clear that everybody's very interested in Delphi. Metal Mama, how are you? Jill Moser, how are you? It's good to see you. All right. Before I dive into this, I don't care who you are. If you do something long enough, you can't help but learn something. Okay, so I have some learned skills. Um, Gail, how are you? And I have not reached out to law enforcement on this case. Law enforcement has not reached out to me. Stacy, how are you? They haven't contacted me. I haven't contacted them. I am positive they have no idea who Ruckus Rocks is. Shane, what's going on, my brother? Molly, good to see you. So, what I'm about to share with you guys, and what I'm going to, I don't ask many questions. Even when I go into other folks' chats, I make statements. I don't ask questions. I like to incite discussion, is what I like to do. And sometimes, Solar Chef Steph, how are you? Sometimes I'll share where I get information from. Like if it comes straight from law enforcement, I mean that's pretty obvious. But other times I don't. Okay, I don't have a crystal ball. Hi, Phil Bond. How are you? I don't have a crystal ball. Phoenix, what are we waiting for? Okay, waiting for me to say hello to people. Phoenix, chill out, chicken. We'll get to it. But I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I like to surround myself with people who have more wisdom than I do. I've always been like that. Hello, Beth. So the stuff that I'm going to share with you tonight, Hathers, how are you? You're not late. You're not late. What up, CCD? How you doing? Tattoo you, welcome. Welcome aboard. Get ready to be aggravated. Because I'm going to tell you guys some stuff, but I'm not going to tell you everything. Because it's just not prudent to do that. Hello, Peggy. But, I don't have a crystal ball, okay? And I know it aggravates people that I throw out little things. Frank Meister, what's going on, brother? It's good to see these other creators stopping by. It's nice to see you guys. And thanks for having me on your channel the other day, Frank, while you were in the courtroom. That was awesome. You did a nice job there. I was just there for aesthetic value. The other two folks were way more intelligent. Jerry, how are you? What the hell is going on, brother? It's good to see you. It's good to see you too. Hey, Rescue. All right, let's get to some stuff. Let's start off with a little bit of let me see. Let's just do this. Let's talk about what's going on now. Okay. When we first started this thing off, right? Once the council got appointed, one of the first things they did is they wanted to have a bond hearing where they could see the preponderance of the evidence, and we'll get to that part too. But this recent activity, and this is why I haven't talked about Delphi, because there's really been nothing going on in the case. I'm an LE guy. I'm not a judicial system guy. So I have to count on other people to give me the heads up on all that kind of stuff. So I have to wait for like defense diaries or prosecutors podcasts and stuff like that. But the law enforcement stuff. Hey, blurry face. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. Sandy says, "How are you?" But they filed a motion, right? Now we all know about this Mandamus, right? We all know about the attachment that they put to it. That 136 some odd page document. Let me open this up a little bit. That to me had all that crazy bullshit in it, all that Odin stuff. Now they kept saying Odinites. I'm not mad at them because I'm an idiot too. Odinite is a rock. Odinists are a group of people. But we've all seen this information. But there's just one reason that I wanted to put it up and go through these three documents. Now, he was initially charged, Richard Allen was, when he was arrested, he was charged with 2 counts of murder with the aggravating factor of 2, which was kidnapping. Geraldine, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Geraldine. I really do appreciate it. Every little bit helps. You're the bomb.com. I appreciate that very, very much. All right, so they charged him with 2 counts of murder, right? With the aggravating factor of kidnapping. Now, I have questioned that. Unfortunately, the most famous time I questioned it is when somebody said my name 3 times, like Beetlejuice, and I had been partying with my friends, and I went on to that live drunk, and I got into it with Sleuthy Goosey. I like Sleuthy Goosey. She kept it classy. She's a very nice person. I was drunk. I was being an asshole. Nonetheless, I was making the same point that I'm about to make now that I was that night. I've been questioning how they charged them. Okay, so they have a felony murder charge. Some people say it's not called that, and da da da. But oh, okay. No, I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it. Oh, that's funny, Molly. I usually catch that kind of stuff. But I've always questioned it. I've always questioned the way they charged him. And some people understood it. Got a $5 super chat from Mark. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much, dude. And it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you in here. So I've always been of the opinion, and I still hold the same opinion, that other people are involved. Okay, I hold that opinion even more now so. But it baffled me why they charged him like that when they didn't have to. If he was the murderer, if he was the lone wolf, just charge him with murder and be done with it. Why the hell do they have to go through all of that, right? Well, hello, Mr. Fahrenheit. Well, now they've changed it. But let's just back this up a little bit. This is the counsel for the defense was looking for relief. Okay, so here's their red flag. They threw the red challenge flag down. They think the judge made a bad call, so they wanted somebody to look at it. So here's the relief that they wanted. They wanted to ensure that going forward, Richard Allen receives his fundamental right to counsel. A writ of mandamus is appropriate to reinstate attorneys Baldwin and Rossi as court-appointed counsel, to set a trial date within 70 days of issuance of the writ, and to remove the special judge and appoint a new one. At the end of the day, you take out that 136-page fiasco. To me, I know some people get upset with that. There's been definitely lines drawn in the sand. When, to be honest with you, if you get upset with me over judicial procedures, there's something wrong with you, because I'm not very smart when it comes to this stuff. So I just say what I want, and I do what I want. Everybody knows I do what I want. She Warrior, how are you? Well, now let's take a look at what happened. It went to the Supreme Court. They looked at it. And I did not watch the hearing, believe it or not. I did not watch it. Frank was there. I was like a placeholder on his channel. Like I said, I was just there for aesthetic value. I'm not too smart when it comes to these procedures and stuff like that. Oh, okay. I got you, Phoenix. I don't know. I've never seen your name before, so I didn't know if you understood that. I like to say hi to people and stuff like that. I think it's a courtesy that it's just what I want to do. Support with Steffa. How are you, dear? But the Supreme Court, now they said they'd have an answer, as soon as possible, But man, I don't think anybody foreseen them having it within hours. I mean, that's crazy. I was like, oh, I'll watch that later, because I wanted to check out. I went around and checked out like Criminality and Defense Diaries and stuff like that, and other channels, and checked out when they Sleuth, and of course Frank Meister. Lee and Susan, how are you? Southern Gal True Crime, what's going on? So what they said, basically, and they're going to come out with a written explanation, but they're saying that yes, the defense wins that challenge, that red flag. They win the challenge that that the attorneys should not have been removed, and they reinstated them back into the case, which I'm fine with. I don't care who is defending him. Now, if he wanted to defend himself, the judge couldn't say, no, you can't do that. So this is the same kind of thing. I was kind of hoping, though, she'd call their bluff, not because I disliked them. And I'm here to tell you, I would hire either one of those attorneys in a heartbeat, because they really don't care. They got balls. I'll tell you that much. Do I think that they did some shady shit? Yes. But was it effective? More than likely, at the end of the day, we're going to have to say yes, aren't we? But it's going to be interesting to see. Now, I don't know if she can put sanctions on them or anything like that, but I know for a fact if I was either one of those attorneys, my first day in court, sitting in front of her, I'd be like this. It's going to be kind of awkward at best if she doesn't recuse herself. Now, she's had some health issues, so she could back out that way, but whether she does or not, it doesn't matter. If they get a new judge in, get a new prosecutor in, I really don't care. Like I said, I'm an LE guy. It doesn't change the evidence, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to share some things with you guys that I haven't shared up until this point. I didn't even want to talk about Delphi until something good happened. But since the prosecutor filed more paperwork, well, now I'm back in it. Just when I thought it was out, they pulled me back in, so that was interesting to me. So I wanted to check that out and see what was happening. And I had an immediate opinion on that. Immediate opinion. Okay, so they said Loretta Rush, she's the chief of the whole thing. So the old attorneys are back in, the new attorneys are out, but they're denying the 70 days, the speedy trial, and removing Judge Gull. So they denied that. Now, I don't know if the council can reapply for the 70-day for a speedy trial. Here in Florida, it's the opposite. It's a flip-flop. You have to waive your right to a speedy trial. Otherwise, you're getting one. Well, I guess in Indiana, you have to. ATS News, how are you, dear? I don't know how I skipped right by you. It's good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. But in Indiana, you have to ask for a speedy trial. So, but to me, all of that is a moot point. You guys, everybody that I've seen here has been around and knows what's going on. Phil Bond, super sticker. Thank you so much, Phil. You're awesome. That helps a lot. It really does. It helps a lot. Got Shane. Just letting these dollars finish dropping. They get a little distracting. Okay, so now what happened the same day, right? Slick Nick, as everybody calls him, the prosecutor, he amends the charges. Now, his reason for amending him is to be more in line with the probable cause affidavit and the evidence and the discovery and all of that. Hey, Love to Hunt, how are you? So this here, to me, makes more sense. This makes way more sense to me. And this tells me, and I've watched Mr. Steve, True Crime Web. You guys all know that I love him to death, and I have nothing but respect for that man. And he's kind of on the fence with it. I am not at all on the fence. Hybrid Pisces, I'm sorry. I missed you as well. Boston Christian, how are you? So now what they've done is they've taken it from 2 charges. So it's basically 2 victims. So there's 2 charges of murder with the aggravating factor of kidnapping, right? So that never sat well with me. And, I've asked over and over, but like I said, more famously, I talked to Sleuthy when I was drunk, and I wish I never did, because I have nothing but respect for that girl, and I think she's a very nice person. And she should be a bartender if she's not, because she knows how to deal with drunk guys, that's for sure. It's not my style. I don't usually act like that. But the charges, I've had the same questions. I've asked Bob Mata the same thing because that charge said, kills a person while committing kidnapping. So, but now this stuff makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so what they have now is they've got one count of murder, just the felony charge of murder per each victim. So count 1 murder, count 2 murder, right? And then count 3 is they're adding, you see, victim 1, let me see. Did I miss committing? Okay, so the first one is while committing kidnapping, and then it's murder, and then they added the charge of kidnapping by force with a deadly weapon, is what it boils down to. So there's 5 charges. And there's also extra witnesses now in this case that were added to it. So that says a lot too. Now, see, he says, remove victim 1 by fraud, enticement, force of threat, because he used a gun. He had a deadly weapon. So to me, right away, this screamed as soon as I saw this, right? Now, he's just put these charges in. They haven't been accepted yet. The judge hasn't signed up, as far as I know. She may have done it today. I'm not aware of it, though, if that's what the case is. But to me, what this screams is that he's not only cooperating, but they're working on a plea deal. And again, I told you I'm going to share things with you guys tonight. You can believe me or you cannot believe me. You have the same opportunities to get this information. Like I said, I don't talk to law enforcement. They don't talk to me. I don't have access to any documents that none of you guys do. So he has already been offered a plea deal once, and he turned it down because part of the plea deal was he was going to have to admit in open court, in front of the public, his participation in this crime. He didn't want to do that. Got a super sticker from Hathers. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. He didn't want to admit to it. Okay? And all of this will either come out or it will not, and you guys will all have the opportunity to come back and tell me that I'm full of shit. But, that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. But he's already been offered a plea deal once, and he did not want to do it. So what this screams to me is not only is he cooperating, not only is there other participants, they're working on a plea deal. Now he has lesser charges that he can plead out to and get less time in exchange for his cooperation. And I don't have any proof of this, but I've been around long enough. And, when you're a kid in school, you learn math. It doesn't matter 2 + 2 = 4. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. It's the formula. Once you learn the formula, you can insert whatever numbers you want. Addition, subtraction, multiplication. It's all about formulas. It's the same thing with law enforcement. To me, this just screams that he's going to plead out. I don't care if he's doing it with his current attorneys or if he had planned on doing it with the other attorneys. Hey, Joan, how are you? But to me, he's going to plead out, and there's other arrests right on the horizon. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So that's my opinion only. I've seen enough information. Hi, Ivory Rose. I've seen enough information, and there's some things I think that people just forget because there's so much going on with this case. So much going on with this case. I'm not saying misinformation or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's all over the place. It's just all over the place. But people are forgetting about Brandon Woodhouse. Okay, Brandon Woodhouse didn't just get index files. He got discovery files. He had crime scene pictures, the crime scene pictures. He had them way before they got passed around. He had them. He had more than just pictures of the index file. He shared information with people about discovery and what was in the discovery. Now, one of the main things that I discovered through that was that the defense team they wanted to squash the subpoena, right? Not the subpoena, the search warrant. They wanted to have that squashed and all the fruits of it, because they're saying that Liggett lied, right? Let me see if I got this. Pull this up. They're saying that Liggett lied to. There we go. Let me shut down this screen thing. Let me get rid of this little thing in the front here. Sorry about that, guys. And I'll even take my ugly mug out of there so we can see this. The defense believes the evidence strongly supports the contention that Liggett intentionally concealed evidence from Judge Durner and lied about other evidence to Judge Durner in his affidavit for search warrant. However, even if Liggett did not intentionally conceal evidence from the judge or did not intentionally place false information in the search warrant affidavit, at a minimum, Liggett behaved recklessly when he prepared the affidavit, omitting those facts from Judge Durner and providing false information in the affidavit. As stated in the motion accompanying this brief, the defense must show that Liggett either intentionally or recklessly omitted facts from the affidavit or provided false statements. So that's pretty big, right? That's a lot to prove. And I'm going to leave my mug off of here for a minute and put up some other things here. All right, search warrant. That's Judge Durner signing off on it. See what we got here. All right, we'll put that back up. Judge Durner signed off on this search warrant. Okay, now you can see the time that he signed off on it. And it is 6:37. Okay, now let's see what this says here. This was part of the search warrant. This is why they searched and the reason that they went there. But if you look at, let's see if I can zoom this in. Okay, it says here the investigators, number 19, went to the residence of the defendant located at 1967 North Whiteman Drive, Delphi, Indiana, knocked on the door and executed the search warrant around 5 p.m. Now, we all know they were there prior to that because the neighbor took pictures. Now, if they served that warrant, and this is where it's always been sketchy to me, I'm not just pro-law enforcement, period, across the board, people make mistakes. Now, how were they there at 5 to serve the search warrant if the judge didn't sign it until 6:37 p.m.? But we know they were there prior to that, okay? And that day, they brought in Richard Allen and his wife and interviewed them. That is on one of the indexes. That's the beginning. Just bear with me, guys. That's the enhancements. Let me see where I've got this. I have the ballistic stuff and all that stuff ready to go too. That ballistics evidence. Let me see what this is. Okay. First class here. Nothing but first class stuff. Top shelf production. The evidence that was gathered in 2017 was reaffirmed by the interview done with Richard Allen and his wife, Kathy Allen, on October 13th. So while they had them in the office interviewing them, one of them had to have given permission to search the residence. There's no way around that. They couldn't do it otherwise. I put my ugly mug back there for a second while I'm looking at things. And yeah, I was shocked too, Hybrid. I was shocked too. But there's other evidence. Here's a great one right here. And the defense has provided 2 photos of the shoe and cell phone found under Libby's legs and marked them as exhibits 21 and 22 and have been filed confidentially. Also, the defense has provided 3 photos of a bullet purportedly found in the ground between Abby and Libby, and marked those photos exhibits 23, 24, and 25. Now, I did a video on this, and you guys may or may not have seen it. This is one of the crime scene photographs, okay? That is a bullet that is on the ground exactly where law enforcement said. It is not underground. It's not under leaves. It's sitting right on top. You can clearly see that. And if that doesn't jump out at you, here's another picture of it. It's right there in the middle. And then to zoom in on it, let me see here, and digitize it, you can see that this thing definitely wants to stand alone. So that is the bullet. And I also know through investigation that they have crime scene photographs of the techs picking up the bullet, bagging it, and starting the chain of custody. Now, in the lab report for the ballistic testing, everything was sealed that got to them. Okay, Ruckus, you probably get all this. Can RA still file a speedy trial starting from today, so 70 days from today? I don't know. I would imagine so. I don't see why he would not. And we still have to deal with that Franks motion. We have to deal with it. But here's the question, right? Here's the question. This, let me get my ugly mug out of there again, as much as I know you guys want to see it. This is, let me hide this for a second as well. Okay, this is what they filed, right? The attorneys, the appellate attorneys, Winky and the other people who filed with the Supreme Court. His counsel continued to file motions to change his confinement conditions, right, which they did. He and his attorneys also developed a trial strategy of seeking a speedy trial and pursuing a defense of a third-party guilt. Okay, so we know, and they're saying that several months prior to the trial, Rick filed motions to suppress evidence and a motion in the mind regarding the ballistics evidence. Okay, now we expect that. We expect them to fight any evidence, okay, any evidence. But that's their Franks motion. Okay, so now if they come out with anything but the strategy of third-party guilt, that screams at me. So if they come back with something else now, then they're full of shit, right? Then they're full of shit. Okay, that's the one on the evidence search warrant. Okay, now, this is one of the indexes. If you look at the bottom of it, okay, it says Alan's motorcycle. Alan did have a motorcycle at that time. He got rid of it. Well, during the search of his property, he no longer had the motorcycle. If you look at DRV 172, you can see a motorcycle cover bag containing a motorcycle cover. I'm here to tell you that motorcycle cover is exactly what the defense team wants thrown out. Not the gun, not the knives that they found, not any of that kind of stuff. That's what the defense team wants thrown out, is that motorcycle cover. Because that motorcycle cover has tire tracks on it. And you probably know by now, from me running my mouth, but they did a search warrant on the Weber property 3 times. 3 times. They actually searched it 7 times, but they had 3 signed search warrants. Okay, they found tire tracks around the Weber property, and those tire tracks, and we've all heard of cases where people get they dump bodies out in the middle of nowhere, and law enforcement they make casts of the tire tracks and all that stuff, or take photos of it or whatever. But those tire tracks that they found around the Weber property near the garage matched the tire tracks on that motorcycle cover perfectly. Richard Allen was there. At some point, he returned to that property. Now, what I'm led to understand, and I believe, is that some things got stashed in there, either by him or by another party. DNA was found in this case. They do have contaminated DNA, and it was found in the Weber's garage. And all of this will come out. And if it does not, you guys please come back and beat me up. Beat me up. Tell me what a shithead I am. Tell me I'm an idiot. But I'm here to tell you. So it has both the girls' profiles and an unknown male profiles, contaminated DNA. This is why they're taking everybody's DNA. They're hoping that the DNA science will catch up and they'll be able to use it. Hey, Jeff Jones. So charging him multiple times for the same crimes is Nick's brilliant strategy. No, it's not, Jeff. That's not what he's done. What he's done is he separated the charges. So now it's murder for one victim. That's one. Murder for the other victim. 2. Kidnapping for one victim. 3. Kidnapping for the other victim. 4. And kidnapping with a firearm. 5. So, and he did it for a reason. Why the hell would he do that? Why would he go through all that? That's because there's other people involved, and he's going to plead out, and he's going to roll. Now, if we look at the interviews, let's look at that for a second. Now, I don't know how many people know this either. The name's out there. It's already up. Everybody's heard it. Rayleigh Voorhees. After Richard Allen was arrested, they brought her back in, and she identified Richard Allen. And they had Richard Allen speak, and she identified him as, yes, he's the person that was there that day. Like it or not. I'm not making this shit up. It just is what it is. If you look at 816, Keegan Kline, Griffiths Air Force Base, why the hell is he on the Delphi discovery? That is the same time that they were doing the search of the Wabash River. Hope DeMello's another name that you're going to hear again. Breanne Weber, she was interviewed by the marshal's office. That was not the first time she was interviewed. It was not the last time she was interviewed. But she had made contact with Anthony Schatz, the Anthony Schatz count, and had planned to meet him several times, or attempted to. Anyways, the AutoZone in Peru. If you look at the docs, and I can't, put them all up. I mean, this isn't my forte, all of this judicial stuff. But if you look at the documentation and stuff like that, there's definitely 2 CIs, confidential informants. There's CI1 and CI2. And there's an unknown male. We know that already. So who are these people, right? There's 2 confidential informants. Well, one of them is the interview that they had at the AutoZone. That's all I'm willing to say about that. This is part of the evidence where they enhanced audio and video. And you can see that Rayleigh Voorhees was brought in again and interviewed. So this is not bullshit. This is good information. Now, here's another thing that people are not aware of. That there was more video on Libby's phone. And I'm not talking about that day. I'm not talking about the 13th. From the day before at Walmart. Her and Abby were fooling around, and there was somebody else in that video who got pissed off at them for fooling around, told them to knock it off. I'm not going to mention any names, but that comes into play as well. Okay, so we got the motorcycle cover. Richard Allen definitely had a motorcycle. That motorcycle cover is exactly what the defense team wants kicked out of this. That's what they want gone. It's not the gun. It's not the knives. It's not the clothes. It's not any of that. Now, if you think that is junk science, that's okay. It doesn't matter because both sides are going to parade experts in to talk about this ballistic evidence, so that they will definitely, whoever the jury believes on that, and they'll parade experts until the judge tells them to stop. Jeff Jones, 15 months later, Nick is doing that, laughing my fucking ass off. It's okay, Jeff. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what you say. It'll all come out. It'll all come out. Captain Howdy, how are you, sir? Thank you for coming in. I watched your last video. It was awesome. All right, so you tell me, right? If evidence was found at the Weber garage, does that mean that Richard Allen crossed back over the creek? That was the question I had, right? No, I don't think so. Something was stashed in there. So whoever was with him put something there, hid something there, whatever. And they've got all this. They say there's no digital information. That's a bunch of bullshit. The same time as the Wabash River search, they bring Keegan out of the jail where he can snitch from his jail cell. No, they bring him on a field trip to the Wabash River, right? And to just outside town at the Tippecanoe River Bridge on 18. And all of a sudden, they're talking to Richard Allen, and he's arrested. And where was Doug Carter during the arrest? He was in Europe. So they found something. They found something in that river. Hey, this account, how are you? They found something in that river. And it just so happens that the yellow Yubo, U2, Yulo, whatever the hell that app was located, the main office was located in Europe. Doug Carter was in Europe. Now, do you think they're going to mail something that they found that they need to extract information from and verify it? Search warrants and subpoenas don't work. American search warrants and subpoenas don't work in Europe. So they had to make some connections in Europe with law enforcement there. And they hand carried it there. You didn't think they were going to chance lose it in the mail, do you? They had it in their damn pocket. That's why Doug Carter was in Europe. So they were able to get some GPS data from that. Now, subpoenas. Let's talk subpoenas, okay? There was a subpoena to the Dollar General store or Family Dollar store. Don't nail me down to the name of it. One of them dollar stores that everybody's familiar with. What's up, Fort Pitts? How you doing, my friend? You know, I saw your picture you put with the rocks, the gems. I thought it was a fruit salad at first, dude. I'm an idiot. But pretty good collection you got there. I don't know if you got it all the same day in the same spot, but it was pretty good. Pretty good. But they sent a subpoena to the dollar store, Dollar General, have a dollar, whatever. Hi, Hiawatha, how are you? Because he bought a burner phone. I think a bit of the new change could mean something unspeakable. Yeah, I agree. This account. True Crime Fangirl, yes, familiar, watch the documentaries. Okay, I'm just trying to catch any questions, even if they're negative. I don't mind. I'll talk to anybody. I don't mind. If you're upset with me, I can't. That's your problem, not mine. I can't help it. Because they don't have a strong case, they want him to plead. That's the math. I don't know, Four Pits. I think they got a pretty strong case. Not much has changed on their side outside of dividing up the charges so that he can plead out to a lesser charge. That just makes the most sense to me. But we'll see. We'll see soon enough, you know. And here's another thing. Remember, we all talked about this. Let's move him. Right? He wants to be moved. This is bullshit. He's being treated like a POW, Hannibal Lecter, you know, all that bullshit. Well, they moved him, and guess what? He's right in the same fucking situation he was at the other place. And that's the first time I've cussed, so right on. I'm doing pretty good. So he's in the same situation. And now they're using, at first they said, what the fuck are you talking about, Ruckus? Does anybody follow me? Or is Jeff Jones the only one? Now, Jeff, I've seen you around. You're a bit of a dickhead. I know that. But, I don't care if you agree with me or not. I'm sharing this information. You can believe it or you cannot believe it. Totally up to you, dude. Totally up to you. You can watch or you cannot watch. I'm old, dude. I don't play the internet games very well. The whole dynamics doesn't. I don't understand how it works. And you're part of the reason. People like you. But if they do, right, get him to plead out, and they do make more arrests, which I believe they're going to, then what happens? Where does it go from there? Right? There's other people involved with this. I've said that since Jump Street, since my first video. My channel's coming up on 1 year next month. It'll be 1 year since I really took a run at it. Since I made my first real video, did a live. Okay, Jeff, if you say so. But it's been a year, and not much has changed, okay, outside of strategies, defense strategies. The prosecution really hasn't changed too much at all. They want to keep things right where it's at. They're happy as a pig in shit with things right where it's at, and let's go to trial. People that say that they didn't want to go to trial and they weren't ready, that's a crock of shit. Let's see if I even have it. Because when I say they, I mean, I'm talking about the defense team. They wanted to have a bond hearing, right? Well, then they got some of that evidence. They got some of the discovery. Oh, shit. They found out about the motorcycle cover and the tire tracks on it and all that. So they started shitting their pants. Well, let's switch this. Hey, can we switch this to to something else? To a suppression hearing? Metal Mama, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're the bomb.com. They are the ones that are filing continuances, right? And like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care who. They could have replaced the attorneys, the judge, and the prosecutor. I don't give a shit. Let's get this thing rolling. Not once have you heard Richard Allen profess his innocence. What we have heard is that he confessed to his wife and others, the detention facility staff. So he said that he has done this. Is there anybody that does not believe that? Hey, Cindy, welcome in. Kelt, how are you, dear? Good to see you. And absolutely right. This account and Frank and a few other people are saying justice for Abby and Libby. Absolutely. If he pleads out, that's not justice. Because I'm telling you, they're going to have to make some sacrifices. Whenever you do a plea deal, you have to give and take. So he's not going to want to fess up to what he did publicly. So they're going to say, okay, that's fine. They've got the evidence on him. He's going to be found guilty, right? But, anything can happen in a jury trial. But they've got enough evidence to where his defense team is shitting, and so is he. But what they're going to offer him is, okay, you won't have to get up there and say you did this horrendous shit, but you can't appeal. You can't appeal. You guys are trying so hard to make everything fit Rick Allen. If it was really the guy, you would not have to force the square peg into the round hole. Nobody's forcing anything, Jeff. And you know what, dude? I've had enough of your shit for today. Can one of the mods just get him out of here for me, please? I don't mind talking to people. I like to incite discussion, but you're just a negative dude. Rebecca Ann, how are you? So if they bring this to trial, which I certainly can't see it happening. I've been saying for a long time that that he's going to plead out. And Four Pits, listen, when you talk, I listen, my friend, because you know those folks. You know those folks. And I'm not saying that he is the best person in the world. I'm not saying any of them are. I don't know any of them. You do. You have an opinion about them. And no matter how strong it is, I know some people think that you're a little abrasive. but I wouldn't have you any other way. And if you say he's like that, I believe you. But evidence for Pitts, evidence does not change. Evidence is evidence, period. That's just the way it is. So it doesn't matter who presents it. That's why I don't care who the prosecutor is, who the attorneys are. Ava, how are you? Yeah, they may well have found more evidence, Brandon. Um, and I can't see it being physical evidence. They have physical evidence that hasn't been brought to light because it shouldn't be. But there was more evidence found at the crime scene. There was a knife found there. There was a belt. There was a Gatorade bottle. And for Pitts, you know as well as I do that some people will plead out when they're not guilty. We've all seen that. But as far as witnesses go, right? If we go back to the witnesses, eyewitnesses are horrible. They're not the most reliable thing. 75 to 80% of wrongful convictions are done so because of bad eyewitnesses. So I'm not banking on the witnesses. The sketches, I don't care. I don't care about the sketches. Nobody has ever been convicted by somebody holding up a sketch and say, look, see, this is him. He did it. No, the sketch is just a tool for law enforcement, just like using the media and stuff like that. But they have not, there's plenty of evidence in that PCA to arrest him on and charge him with this. Now, what has changed? And just hear me out. What has changed recently? And it's not this judicial badminton that they're playing. Something else has changed. He's talking. Evidence didn't just appear out of thin air. He's talking, or somebody else is talking. And he knows that he's screwed. So he needs to have the best deal that he can possibly get. And maybe his old defense team worked it. Maybe his new defense team worked it. But all they did, as far as I can see, was sent an investigator. They did the same thing the other team did, sent an investigator. Remember the other team, they sent that kid Max. And wrote the same kind of bullshit. Hi, Rebecca. But they have Purple Puddles. How are you? They have plenty of evidence on him. And he's been in prison for over a year. Over a year. Mr. F, how are you? And he's not out. And he's not getting a bond. They were not successful. They wanted to have that bond hearing, not to get him a bond, because what he was charged with carries zero bond. There is no bond. So what they were going to argue was the PC was weak. There was not enough evidence in there to even charge him with that. So they needed to change the charge and then give him a bond. That was never going to happen. This count, can you also explain there is a chain of custody even of, say, someone finds a gun used in a robbery days or weeks after and it's been picked up by founder? Yes, the chain of custody starts as soon as law enforcement or crime scene technicians take custody of that evidence. That is, they have a chain of custody on that round. That round sitting on what's his name's desk was never the actual bullet. That's just not going to happen. Ever. It's never going to happen. The chain is broken only after found, given to law enforcement, right? Well, it's not. It's bagged, it's tagged, it's signed and dated by who put it in that bag, and there's that red tape or seal if it's a plastic bag. And anybody that opens that has to put both the original bag or use the original tag, open it, examine it, put it back in, reseal it, sign it, and date it. That's the chain of custody. So they want to touch it as little as possible to start with. But anybody that touches that evidence has to A, sign it out on the log, B, sign it, bag and tag it every time. Hey, Carol. So that's law enforcement 101. That's crime scene investigation 101. It was tagged, it was bagged, there's a chain of custody. None of that evidence is bogus. It's evidence. Now, whether or not the defense, that's their job to explain it away. That's what they have to do. They have to explain it away. No, the tracks are real. It's not rumor, Sandy says. And I'm finally sharing this with you guys. I've been kind of dropping shit around. I've been off this case because there was really nothing happening. Well, now that these charges have changed, things to me become a lot more clear, and I can see that he's cooperating and that they're working on a plea deal. That doesn't mean they have one. That means they're working on one. They are separating those charges so they can say, okay, here, look, you plead out to this, and you won't have to go publicly and say that you did it, but you cannot appeal, because he's already got grounds for appeal with all this bullshit that's going on. Listen, folks, he's still innocent. We have due process. He's an American citizen. Okay, he has to have due process. They can't just railroad the guy like some people are thinking, and they can think that. That's fine. I don't mind any of that. I'm not upset with anybody unless you're just being ignorant. This seems like some unsubstantiated rumor and speculation. I wouldn't be surprised if defense is attentive to the motorcycle cover, but only because it was so clearly outside the warrant scope. Okay, Fiend. Well, we'll find out together. Make sure you stop back in, whether I'm right or wrong. All right, my friend? Stop back in, and we'll discuss it more. If it doesn't go to trial, Doug Carter said he's going to let us all know. So him and Nick McClellan are going to let everybody know what happened. It doesn't matter if Jeff's still around, huh? Jeez Louise. It doesn't matter if he tells everybody what happened or not. It's going to come out. He just won't have to have the embarrassment of saying it himself. But, that also, serial killers love that shit. That tells me he's not a serial killer, because serial killers love that shit. I don't know if you guys ever saw BTK telling what he did in open court, and Gary Ridgway, I called people liars years ago when who said the garage had blood in it, and it was animals. Heard that ages ago. Old rumors keep popping up. Well, it's there. It's there. 2 blood drops and a smudge. And that may be where fibers comes into play as well. Maybe there's fibers in that. But this is through my, not investigation. I can't even investigate this case. But through my looking into it, finding out what I found out, talking to who I talked to, information that's there. Like I said, it's the math. It's a formula. These are learned skills and trained skills. But we'll see during and Jeff, you are right. Depositions are not rumors. They're not rumors. But if you're anti-law enforcement, that's fine. I dealt with that my whole career. But from what most of the people that were anti-law enforcement were assholes who didn't like law enforcement because they were not on the right side of the law. Hey, Junior. So that's all I wanted to touch on today, was to give everybody my opinion on what's going on. He's going to plead out. There's going to be more arrests. Just the fact that they're amending those charges to that, they're just splitting them up. Splitting up the charges so that he can plead out. So Keegan Kline is involved. I would not be surprised if Tony Kline is involved in some way, shape, form, or fashion. There's other people involved. Now, the gentleman that was walking his dog that day early in the morning, allegedly early in the morning, David Riley, his wife was called in to be questioned, and then Kathy Allen was called in to be questioned, and then his daughter was called in to be questioned. He was never called in to be questioned. So take what you will from that. There's other players involved. They're keeping everything close to the hip. But just the charges, the way things are going. And yeah, of course, Jeff. Got another super sticker from Hathers. I'm sorry, Hathers. Thank you very much. $1.99. You're awesome. But that's what I have. The royal wheat. Yes, I'm certain there are two CIs, Royal, and there's an unknown male. But yes, there's CI1 and CI2. I'm positive of that. So, and like I said, you could believe it, you could not believe it. Well, I'll find out together, and I'll be here. I'll be here. Yeah, they are technically new charges, Ivy, but it's the same. It's the same thing. And you know, Ivy, that I've questioned the way they charged them to start with. Well, now they're doing it the way I thought they would have done it. I've always said we would have charged him with jaywalking, littering, if we can prove that that bullet is his, littering, you name it, anything. That's the old way of doing it. So I'm glad that they amended the charges or asked for the charges to be amended. The judge hasn't agreed to it, you know. So they've got more evidence, but it's not physical evidence. Somebody's talking. And with them amending charges like that somebody is Richard Allen. No doubt in my mind. But we'll all find out together. You know, if you think that garage, Weber garage, is a rumor and it's a bunch of bullshit, take a look. There was 3 search warrants there. Three. And they searched it 7 times. There's a reason there was crime scene tape up at the end of the bridge, blocking off access to the Weber's property. And how do I know all this? Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball. If you're around long enough, you're bound to learn something. Bound to. And I appreciate all the mods for helping out. I just want to catch up on chat. I have said enough to let people gnaw on it. Oh, that was a while ago. Okay, so I hope Jeff got the boot. But yeah, so I guess he thinks that they weren't in Europe as well. So we'll see. But there is a witness that identified him, and that's a fact. And if you, Hannah, hey Kellyo, yes, guys, go check out Frank's channel. Mods, I know you usually do. I haven't been checking. I've been skipping by most of that stuff. Put in any creators that come in here. If you could please post their channel up, please and thank you. And if not, creators, don't be afraid to do it yourself. I'm not upset with you, but I do want to know if Mark Cohen gave you crime scene pics. He did not. He did not. I saw the crime scene pics. Everybody knows I did. I did a video on it. Mark Cohen did not give me the crime scene pics. I did go meet with Mark Cohen. Hey, Red Queen. In Orlando when he was here with his daughter to take her to Disneyland for the Make-A-Wish Foundation when all that bullshit was going on. People that think that he's this big leaker and this big spy and confidential informant and all that, I don't think any of that's true. Him and I got to go out. We went to a bar. We had a couple beers. First, he's like, "Are you trying to get me killed?" It was a bar in Orlando. It was a biker bar. Hi, Angela. They want to move to the county jail, not transfer to another max security prison. Yes, that's what they wanted. Judge Gull ruled that the DOC can do what they want with him if they want to move him. I don't see why they don't put him in the county prison. The only thing that I can think of is they don't want to inconvenience more inmates because they'll have to move people out of there. It's a small jail. He's got to be housed alone. He's a high-risk pretrial detainee. High risk. That said, I don't know the layout of the facility that Brian Kohlberg is in, but he seems to be doing fine in a county jail. But I don't know what kind of county jail that is, you know. So it's just, it is what it is. But he's still in the same position. If he goes to a county jail, he's going to be in a cement cell with iron doors or a steel door and a food chute. And, you know, sorry that the truth hurts. You're a nitwit, Jeff. You are. Try that shit on somebody that gives a shit about it. I honestly don't understand the dynamics like that. Now, if you just follow along and you don't investigate and you don't actually look for information and stuff like that. Hi, Heather. And hi, Jessica. then you're just watching it like you're watching a documentary on Netflix or whatever. You're not really participating in it. So for people that have not reached out and found information out and put things together and all that, then you should not be making rude comments. If you want to make comments and ask questions, that's fine. But to be rude when you haven't done any of the groundwork yourself, I just don't understand that. Never will. But like I said, I dealt with it my whole career. This account, I'm ripping mad at you, Ruckus. No parka leg warmers and all the fixings for you. No, it's going to be cold here tomorrow. Right now it's like 65, but it's going to be in the 30s in the morning, which is bullshit. I'm going to have to move to Miami to get the hell out of here. All right, let me catch up to Cleo. What's shaking? Brianna Weber was KG boyfriend and sister. In an interview, KG said BW called her from the trails early that day. It was BW brother Kelsey called from the car. The girls got out telling him. Yes. Well, Bree Weber tried to meet with the Anthony Shots count several times. He did plead not guilty. A lot of people plead not guilty. That was at his advisory. Your advisory, first appearance, people. Hey, criminality. Teresa, I didn't see what you said. No plea, especially now. This is going to be good, Teresa. It'll be fun no matter which way it goes. If I'm right, you got to promise to come on here. If you're right, I'll come on your show and tell you that you were right and I was wrong. But they're setting up for a plea deal right now. If he doesn't take a plea deal, he's not too bright. This account, Super Sticker, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're awesome. Thank you for stopping by. That's how I'm wondering going to add death penalty. Now, they haven't added the death penalty yet, and I'm pretty sure that his attorneys are death penalty certified. That's why they were appointed. Oh, Jeff is a troll. Okay. I don't understand that whole troll thing either. I just say what I got to say. I know I've pissed some people off. There's other creators pissed off at me. There's viewers that make videos about me. Super chat, $1.99 from Purple Puddles. Thank you so much. Yeah, a guy from Canada made one today and commented about that he's sorry he trusted me and all that. I don't understand it. Gail Hurd, super sticker, $5. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Royal Wheat Forever. That is hilarious. Criminality. I didn't even watch the hearing, and I don't know how you got away with playing it live stream. I was baffled by that. I wouldn't have attempted that. Let me see. Silker Mom. There's Kitty. Delphi Dummies. How are you? But gave you guys enough to talk about. I'm sure I'll be called all kinds of idiots and stuff like that. I don't mind. Kyra, that would be my safe word here. I'm telling you, Teresa, I felt like I needed a safe word in your channel. It's so funny because I love you to death. I love your personality. I love the way you conduct yourself, and there's definitely people in there that lean one way. And like I said, I go in and I make statements. I don't ever ask questions. I make statements, try and cite discussion. But you see, haters. I've lived near Delphi most of my life, and some of the things brought up in that memorandum I've never heard of. Yeah. And here's another thing, too, just real quick. Hey, AJ. People ask a lot about Evansdale. Are they connected? No. And there's other law enforcement people that agree with me. Drew grew up in that area. He's the father, Drew Collins, the father of one of the little girls. He didn't even know about Seven Bridges. There's people that live in Delphi that never heard of Monon High Bridge. You have to be familiar with that area. It would be next to impossible. Yeah, sketches are from eyewitnesses, Ivy Rose, but eyewitnesses are horrible witnesses. They usually don't last. They can't survive cross-examination. And I know you've heard this before, Ivy. Um, Describe somebody that you saw today. You won't be able to nail it. And if those eyewitnesses, now one of those eyewitnesses has identified him after he was arrested. He called her in. She looked at him. That's him. Heard his voice. That's him. So, and Hannah interviewed her. So Hannah Shakespeare. So that's about all I've got for today. I haven't spoken to any of the family. Hi, Candy B. New Zealand, welcome in. Welcome in. TLS, how are you? Colette, hello. So, any of you guys, Teresa, how are you? Any of you guys that have any questions or anything like that, you can email me, Ruckus Rocks TPC, True Crime Podcast, at gmail.com, or you can send me a message, or you can comment on any of my videos. I usually respond to any comments. James, what's up, brother? So other than that, guys, I appreciate you coming in. That is my total opinion, and we will find out, hopefully more sooner than later. This guy is an American citizen. Hey, Hugh. This guy's an American citizen. He deserves due process. We all do. So hopefully we'll never be caught in that situation. I can't see it ever happening. 63 Clocks, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I always enjoy your POV. Thank you for bringing it. Keep doing what you want, my friend. Yeah, everybody knows I do what I want. When I want, where I want, usually. I have a permit. Joan, Ruckus. Let's see what this question is. Do you think Rozzy would have fought so hard to get back in just to plea? Seems like they want limelight of a trial, not what's best for the client. I agree 100% on that. They do. But sometimes what's in the best interest of the attorneys is not in the best interest of the client. Gladys Kravitz, $9.99 super chat. Great live, Ruckus. Thank you, Gladys. I appreciate it. It's always good to see you. And those who have difference in opinion, just don't be a dick. Kimosabi, you never responded to my question is how have you been dipping blood? How you have dripping blood in the garage? Because there's other people involved. I don't think he crossed back over the creek. The other people that were involved went there, stashed something in the garage. He went back later on his motorcycle to get it. Left tracks. Got rid of his motorcycle, kept the cover. Now, I haven't had a motorcycle in years, and I still have my motorcycle cover that I've had for like 3 or 4 bikes. Motorcycle covers are pretty much universal. So that's never a question. If anybody questions, why would he have a cover if he doesn't even have a motorcycle? It doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense to anybody that has had motorcycles or has motorcycles. Real motorcycle riders don't use covers, though. Mine will never get used again. You just let it rain. That's all. All right, guys. That looks about everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Thank you to all the creators. Ivy Rose, it's always good to see you. Jill, Boston Christian. But the girls said he never responded, so no way for them to know his voice. Okay. Well, we have a disagreement there. They made him talk for a reason. But we'll see. This will all come out. Thank God. And I'm done with it until something else happens. If the prosecution comes out with something new, or if it goes to trial, or if there's a plea deal, whatever. But I'm back on helping Larry, helping Drew, and trying to get Huffsass in jail. Also, we've got a case in California that we're looking at that we definitely need to help out on. Okay, let me see if I missed any. Got a $5 super sticker from Frank Meister. Frank, thank you very much. I appreciate it, my friend. Just making sure that I didn't miss any super stickers or super chats. If I did, I apologize. It's unintentional, I assure you. Please hit the like button on your way out. And please, 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 don't take any wooden nickels, guys. We'll see you next time. My name is Ruckus. Thanks for hanging out. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm 10-7.